Today, I'm going to show you how to set up an ordering system on your website to increase your profits and better serve your customers. So in a previous video, I talked about how I set up an ordering system on my website, and I did that for many reasons, but one, to help me organize myself a little better, two, to not have to talk about pricing anymore. They can just see all the pricing, to be able to add my terms and conditions there, and so many other reasons. But today I wanted to show you how to easily set that up using a service called Paperform. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to show you a few things. First, I'm going to show you what my website looks like. Then I'm going to show you what the back end of Paperform looks like and how you can easily set up an entire form. I'm not going to go through an entire form setup, but I'm going to introduce you to how you can do that. But you can see my form and how detailed you can get. And then I'm going to show you what the back end of my form looks like. If you want to skip ahead and you don't even want to just go through and watch all this, you want to come back to it later, click on the link below in the description. It will bring you to sign up for Paperform. You can give it a try, see if you actually like it. You can go in there and play around. Just full disclosure, it is an affiliate link, so if you are interested in using Paperform, by all means go ahead and do it. Now, before I go even further than that into it, I want to stop and take a minute to thank Jed Pearson and Andrew Larkin, who are based in Salt Lake and somewhere in the middle of Oregon, for introducing me to this platform about a year and a half ago. I believe it's been about a year and a half already that I've been using this on my website, and I can honestly say that my profits have increased. My clients have a lot more clarity on the stuff that they're ordering from me. They know exactly what they're going to be paying. It's just super convenient for everybody all around, and I truly believe in this platform. So yes, it is an affiliate link, but I truly believe in this product and I would not be recommending it otherwise. So without further ado, I'm going to go into my website and show you what a client might expect. Alright, so my website is significantly different than most real estate photography websites. I'm not going to go into why my website is laid out like this. I probably will in another video. But on my website, the client basically has the option to do one thing, and that's place an order. Okay, so everywhere you look on my website, there's one button they can click on: order and schedule here, get started on your plan. This is my website. Okay, so they can click start here, order and schedule here. It's going to all bring them to the same place. Okay, now when they come here, they're going to see I'll put some announcements at the top. I'm going to be, at the time of this video, I'm going to be out of town for about a week, so only certain services are going to be available. Where I'm at in southern Minnesota, I actually serve 3 regions. So in here I have 3 different regions they can select. Different services and different pricing is going to be available depending on the region that they pick. But I'm in south central Minnesota, so let's just go through a fake order and show you what it would look like, okay? So what's the name of the agent listing this property? Rich Bone. 123 Main Street is the street. Email address, not sure. We'll say rich@richbum.com. Now, I charge based on square footage, so I know it looks kind of overwhelming right now, but typically the agents are going to have to scroll very far in my market. Most of the houses I shoot are around 2,300 square feet. So let's just say they pick a 2,500 square foot listing. I'm also not going to go into a bunch of explanation as to why I charge what I charge, the services that I offer, all the details. That's a whole other video, but you can certainly ask me questions about it if you want to on the side. So the first thing they're going to do is select 2,500 square feet, which is $175 for just basic photography, single exposure. And you'll notice at the bottom it shows the total, $175, and then they can hit next. So now they come to the different types of photography that they can select. Yes, I do offer multiple types of photography. Again, whole other video. I'm not going to go into it right now. But let's say they want to add multi-flash photography. It's additional $35. They want to, and then what will happen is it'll populate what kind of video they want to order. Let's just say they want to order a mobile. Now let's say they're not going to order a video this time, okay? Then it's going to pop up any additional services they might want. Now, what's happening here, and I'll explain this when I show you the back end, it's conditional formatting. So depending on what the customer selects, whether it be the region they're in, the square footage that they select, different services are going to populate based on how I have it programmed in the background. And again, I'm going to show all this to you later, just briefly. But this is just the type of things you can do. You can customize it. I make mine pretty minimalist. But yeah, I have different services they can select. If they want to add some Twilight exteriors, yes, I only charge $100 for them. That's because I just hardly do them. Let's say they want to do a blue sky replacement. And that's all. So what you'll notice is at the bottom, it automatically adds the total of what they're going to be paying, what they can expect to be paying when all is said and done. Now, let's say they change their mind and they do want to add a mobile video, which is another $125. You go down and the price automatically changes, okay? Now, this is another great part about Paperform. They can go back and change things. They can go forward. Now, once they have all the services they want selected, you can hit next and it brings them to my terms and conditions. Now, again, this will change based on where they're at, but essentially, I have them agree to my terms and conditions before I even bring them to the scheduling page. Yes, there is a scheduling page. That is the next video. But, you know, now full disclosure, you guys, people aren't going to sit here and read all of your terms and conditions. I mean, how often are you reading terms and conditions for the things that you purchased? It's probably not happening very often. But this will allow you to at least say, hey, I gave you the information before you scheduled. And I also send a copy, a pretty similar copy of this along with every invoice that I send. So, you know, there's not really any excuse for there to be any lack of clarity. It is still your responsibility to make sure that your clients understand your terms. So don't rely just on this and say, hey, it was written in my terms. Like, you need to have a conversation about it. With that said, once they agree to the terms, which they will, because if they say no, they don't agree, then I will tell them I can't shoot it if they don't agree to the terms. So once they agree to the terms, I can hit yes, submit, and it will bring them to the scheduling page. That again is the next video because that's a whole other thing I'll show you. But this is essentially what the client experience is going to look like. Now, I created separate forms for different clients or brokerages that have a negotiated rate with me based on the volume of listings they're sending me. But there's many things you can do, and I'm going to show you what the back end of Paperform looks like right now. Now, first of all, you can set up as many forms as you need to. I believe I'm on one of the higher paid plans, so I get a little bit more options available to me, I believe, but you can do pretty much all this stuff with just the basic introduction plan, okay? I was using that for the longest time, and I only upgraded because of the amount of things that I wanted to be able to do. Now, right now, I only have 5 different forms set up. Over the years, I've gone through 5 or 6 different iterations of this, and at some points I've had 10 forms. So you can make as many as you need to based on your individual needs. For me, right now 5 is working for me, okay? You can also set up different categories. So if you have other businesses, you can set them up here. And yeah, so lots of options for you. But let's say you want to create a new form, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to hit create form, and it's going to bring you to this screen, okay? The nice thing about Paperform is it's minimalist, and it pretty much tells you exactly what you need to do. And you can really set these up, a very basic form up in the matter of just, 5-10 minutes or so. My form, I'm not going to lie, took a couple hours to put together, and I had to spend a lot of time planning and figuring out the flow of things. I have a lot of conditional formatting. I'll show you all that in just a few minutes here, but we'll just walk through what you can do to, how you set up a basic form, and you can kind of get the idea of how this all works from there, okay? So we'll just call this demo form. And you can use templates. Look, they're templates, so a lot of them may not suit what you want to do. I just start from scratch. Again, it's minimalist, so it's easy for me to work with. So the first thing that happens when you come to a form is it says type here to choose an option to get started. Now you can either type here and that'll just add a section or whatever, or you have these other options. You can add a video, you can add a picture, you can add a break, which is just a different section within a page. So if I added one, it just adds a line right there. Whoops. Or you can add a question. Now, a question is what is going to be the majority of your form, just a whole bunch of questions and different products. And a question is essentially a box that allows them to select something, okay? So what we're going to do is add a question first, and we'll start with the basics. What is your name? All right. You can add a description of what you mean by that. First and last name, please. And that's as easy as it gets. You just created your first form. It's a very boring form, but you can view a preview. This is what it looks like without any bells and whistles, okay? What'll happen is your email address is already programmed in based on your login information. So when they enter their name, Rich Bum, and they hit submit, it's going to send you an email. This form is just going to send me an email saying Rich Bum. That's it. It's going to be a really boring form, okay? So we need to add some content. So what is the address of the property? Now, Paperform has a lot of options within these menus. So you can do text, email, URL, you can do all these things. You can do address. I actually don't do this because when you go into it, it requires them to enter the street, city, well, they don't require the city, but the state, the zip code. Like, I don't want to deal with all that. I know you can, if you go into the settings, you can disable zip code and you can restrict the country to one country, but I want it to be an easy experience for them. So I just have text. They enter the generic address of the property. I can put 2 and 2 together because in my scheduling system they actually have to enter the correct address because it'll populate on a map and they'll have to select it. So again, that will be the next video, okay? So let's see, I want to do let's see here, city and state, please. Obviously they don't have to do that. Okay, so now let's say I want to add some different products, okay? Now, again, you guys, this is a very basic form. Once you actually get in and start making your own forms, they can get really complicated. But let's say you want to just start adding some products, okay? You have a couple different options. You can do, multiple choice, drop down. There's an actual products option here, which is what we're going to work on today. Would you like to order? And you can go in here to the configuration, and these are all the options you have. Now, the nice thing is it actually has, well, first of all, we're going to click they can buy more than one product. And you guys, I know I'm moving pretty fast. This is a general overview. I just want to show you the general look of what Paperform looks like on the back end and the types of things you can do with it. So this isn't meant to be a full-on training or tutorial. This is just a broad overview, okay? So let's say Rich and Brian from Shooting Spaces want to start selling some t-shirts, which I believe they are, by the way. And I'm not sure what they cost, but let's just say they're $25. Now you'll have to create a SKU. We'll say they have 1,000 shirts available. You don't have to put, it's optional. Max per submission is optional. You can actually accept payments within Paperform. I don't personally, so you can keep this on or off. It doesn't really matter. Now, if they want to add another product, we'll say webinars, because they are doing webinars now, if you did not know. And I believe they're only $30. We'll keep those blank. And I think they also they have hoodies. Okay, so let's just say a hoodie is $25. I'm not exactly sure if they are. Make a SKU, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we've got 3 different products that Rick and Brian have set up for Shooting Spaces. And this is a preview of what it's going to look like. T-shirts $25, webinars $30. Okay, so this is what the actual order is, or the product section is going to look like. And another nice thing about Paperform is every few minutes it automatically saves, so you don't normally have to click save. But this is what the order form is going to look like now. So Rich Bum, 123 Main Street. Wants to order t-shirts and a webinar, and hey, why not a hoodie at the time? And you can see it adds all the totals together, and the total is $80. Now, let's say you want to, one of the beautiful things about Paperform that I've implemented into my ordering system is upselling. And you can go back and watch my previous videos on the subject of selling. Selling is not a dirty word. It's not a bad thing. I view selling as offering services to my clients so that they can't get otherwise, that I believe will actually help them in their business. So I want to trigger other thoughts in their head. So I don't want them just to order and then check out and be done with it. I want them to think twice about things, right? So if they select, oh, I only want to do photos this time around, and they go through the whole ordering process, they're ready to check out, I'm going to ask them, are you sure you don't want to do a video? It's only this much. And maybe they hadn't thought about it when they're doing the order, and they might say, yeah, I do want a video. So again, that's the nice thing about Paperform, is you can put in all these upselling capabilities, okay? So what would you like to order? Now let's say we want to do some conditional formatting. What we're going to do is we're going to add a whole other section, and basically what we're going to say is, if based on what they select, let's show them some other options, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a page break here, which is, again, is a whole other section. I'll delete that little space I made. Whoops, because we don't need it. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some other questions here, and these are different. This is basically another product we want to add. Whoops. Where's it at? Product. Questions required. And let's say they order a t-shirt and they order a webinar, but they don't order a hoodie. And I really want them to sell the hoodie because I think they would really enjoy it. So I'm going to ask them, are you sure you don't want a hoodie? Hoodie worn by Rich and Brian themselves. And a little smiley face. $25. Whoops, 200. And then you can't use the same SKU twice, so we're going to use a different SKU. Upsell hoodie. And question visibility logic. This is essentially conditional formatting. So you can basically say, if this happens, then show this, okay? Now, it's pretty self-explanatory. You select what question you want to target, and that was what would you like to order. And if I want to say that they didn't choose a hoodie, so I'm going to say isn't hoodies, then show this question. So essentially it's saying, show this question if when they were in the would you like to order section, they don't select hoodie. That's what this form is saying. And then we're going to add a question here. Are you sure you don't want a hoodie? Whoops. And there is my upsell section, okay? So we're going to save that, and this is what it's going to look like on the back end. Now, let's say they go in here, they fill out this information, they're going to select t-shirts, they're going to select webinars, and then they're going to hit next. Now, before I hit next, what should happen if I did this correctly, it should pop up a section saying, are you sure you don't want a hoodie? And with the price of that hoodie, okay? So let's just see if that happens. Are you sure you don't want a hoodie? And then they can hit submit, okay? So that's essentially a very basic way upsells work. Now, you guys, this isn't a big fancy ordering system. This is minimalist. It's easy to use. It's easy to program. It just takes a little bit of time and some planning in advance. But this is a really powerful program, and you can plug it right into your website. I use Squarespace. It works just fine in Squarespace. I used to use WordPress, and it worked just fine in WordPress. I'm sure it works on other platforms too. It's really just an embed code. So again, when you go back to my website, it's a little more complicated than what we just built. This is essentially what it looks like. And depending on what they select, it's going to give them different services they can add on. Now, I know I have a lot on here. It works for me. It works for my clients. It's not necessarily going to work for you. But now I want to show you what the back end looks like, okay? So we'll go back to our dashboard. And there's our demo form that we just created. I can go in here and edit that at any point. And now we're just going to go here and I'm going to show you what the back end of my form looks like. This all here is this, okay? So you saw, if we go back to the start here, you see here I have the regions right here. That is this section right here. This is what we're looking at. When I go into the configuration for this, you can see how it's all built. I have a multiple choice option selected, which is how they can select which option they want. Metro, I can add images to the individual buttons, and this is essentially what this all turns into this, okay? And that's a whole section. They can go in here, it's all right here. And total estimated square feet of your listing. I have two different things here because of the two different regions I'm serving. I know they're showed three, but that's a long story. Type of photography they'd like, type of video. Now, I have a lot in here because I charge based on square footage. So I have a different numbers in here depending on the service that they select, okay? So depending on the square footage that they select, I have different pricing. So I had to build a new section or a new question for depending on which pricing. Now, let's say, like I said, this one here is 4,000. I'm sorry, it's 4,500 square feet. So I made this particular section if they select that they have a 4,500 square foot home in the metro. Okay. And these are the different options. These are the different pricings. And here's my logic, my question visibility logic. So select your region. It's in the metro. Select your region as in southeastern Minnesota, because for this particular service, it's the same price. Select the total estimated square feet is this. So as long as they answer all of these questions, this form will pop up. Okay. That is how mine works on the background. Now, additional services, this is what my additional services look like. Pretty straightforward. This is what it looks like. This is what the conditional formatting looks like. Again, lots and lots of conditions in this. So, okay. You can get really complicated with this. It does involve some planning ahead of time. Here's all my terms and conditions for the different regions I'm in. And that's pretty much it. Now, what happens is when they hit submit after they select those terms and conditions, it's going to bring them to my scheduling system, which again, I'm going to show you in a different video. But before we end this video, I want to show you how it routes, because I have another photographer, and I also have different schedules set up depending on the region that they shoot in and also the services that they ask for. Okay, so what happens is you can go into all these configurations. Now, I'm not going to go into all these menus, you guys. Again, I can do that on a different video, but this is just an introduction. But I want to show what this looks like. So here is my formatting for, depending on what they select, it's going to tell them which calendar to go schedule on, okay? So as you can see here, it says any scheduling for me, Jordan, that's going to be the default. So that it will always go to me unless these 8 rules apply, or unless these two rules apply, it will go to this calendar. So let's just say Jason, for example. These are all the different rules I have set up. So he will shoot anything that's just single exposure for photography up to 2,500 square feet for me. That's the majority of my real estate photography work, and I'm giving that to him. So if they select those things, it will go to his calendar unless they select these conditions that I have set up. If they want to use flash, if they want to do video of some sort, if they want to do twilights, or if they have rush delivery, room measuring, all that other stuff, it will send it to my schedule. Okay, so that's essentially how it works in a nutshell. Again, you guys, I know this was a very vague, very quick overview. I could probably talk about this particular form for hours, but I just wanted to use this video as an introduction to show you what is possible and how you can set things up on your own website and start really taking orders. I mean, before I used this, I was ordering everything through text messages or through email or through phone calls. They would literally message me with the information. I would manually put it into my calendar and be done with it. And then I'd also have to explain pricing, and the agents would forget that I offer certain services. And this is beneficial because not only does it do the scheduling for me, but it shows them every single thing that I offer, and it makes suggestions based on what they actually might need. So I believe this form of a website is truly serving them. They can do it right from their mobile device. What I do is I will send a link, and they can save it to their phone like it's just an app. So they can click on the app on their phone, and it will bring them to my ordering form. They can literally order and schedule a shoot in less than 2 minutes, and they don't even have to talk to me. They don't even see me until I see them at the shoot, if they even decide to show up, because I also have it set up to where I can go by myself. So you guys, lots and lots and lots of things that you can do with this. Again, if you want to check out Paperform, there's a free trial. Click on the link in the description. Again, it is an affiliate link, so it will help support what I'm doing here. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have as best as I can in relation to how I've set it up in my experience with Paperform. Otherwise, I can direct you to the right resource to get the answers you need. But you guys, it's worth checking out. It's super easy to use. Again, it's only time consuming when you're just trying to figure out how to use it. But once you have a nice solid plan in order of how you want to lay out your whole ordering system, then it's actually pretty easy. So again, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned next week for part 2 of this video, where I show you how this integrates with my scheduling system.